Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Jonathan, and to my returning subscribers, welcome back, my friends, welcome back. In today's video, I want to talk about 5 reasons why you're feeling so off. And what I mean by this, I'm talking about your intuition closing off, your heart chakra closing off, no longer feeling those loving emotions, and no longer receiving that guidance. Let's get started. Were you riding an emotional high and then all of a sudden everything just seemed to shut down? I'm talking about no longer feeling that love, joy, and bliss, no longer sensing or feeling your way forward on your spiritual journey. And that connection you have with spirit, no longer receiving that guidance, those ideas as far as how to move forward. And now you're just left feeling all numb, filled with more questions than answers. This is something, you might think that this is something extremely rare that only occurs in very few amounts of people during their awakening, but the majority of us have to go through this stage at one point or another. And there are many specific reasons as far as why we go through this challenging stage of the spiritual awakening. And as far as for myself, this happened about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, where everything was going great. I was acting on that guidance. I was following my intuition. And then all of a sudden, everything just got shut down. And the reason why I want to make a video of this first before how to raise your vibrations back up is because you need to understand what is the cause of this. Because if you're just going to go watch some content as far as how do I raise my vibrations without discovering why this is happening to you, you're only putting a Band-Aid on that wound. What I mean is you're going to raise your vibrations back up, but then it's going to come crashing back down again because there's something that you must learn. There's something that you must let go. There's possibly a different direction that you must head in. The first reason why all of a sudden everything just shuts off and you just are left feeling all numb is at a certain point during your spiritual awakening, at a certain point, you're going to be taking in information. You're going to be gaining all this knowledge and this wisdom. But then at a certain point, it's time to act on this guidance. At a certain point, you will be put to the test. There's going to be a test. There's going to be an event that's going to come forth where one side is you're using rationally thinking your way forward, and then the other decision is using your intuition. But the first time that you go through this brings up all this fear, all this anxiety, all this stress, because in your mind, you're rationally telling yourself, this is the direction I should be heading in. But in your heart, you feel it that that's the path that you should be choosing. But what's important is don't bring yourself down if this was the case where you had a certain choice and you didn't follow your heart on this, because you learned something from this. You were able to gain a deeper understanding as far as how that emotion feels, as far as your intuition, as far as that gut instinct. What does that emotion feel like? And the next time you're going to be able to trust it. And the second reason why you feel so off, you're not being able to let go. There's all these manifestations you want to bring forth. You've been saying all these affirmations. You've been envisioning what you want to have come forth. But you're hanging on to things as if your life depended on it. And by doing this, you're really not allowing yourself, as far as your faith, to grow. You're really not trusting all the different spiritual elements as far as the guidance that you're being given. Therefore, at a certain point, everything is going to shut off until you're able to officially let go. And every time you manifest something, remember this, every time you want to bring forth a manifestation, you must let go of something first. Sometimes it is as easy as letting go of a self-limited belief, but other times it's letting go of physical goods. It's letting go of certain situations. It's letting go of certain relationships. It's letting go of just something that might be near and dear to your heart. But it's having that faith that whatever you're letting go of, something even better is going to come forth. And that's why, as far as this journey, It's nothing that you can see. It's nothing that you can touch. It's only something that you're able to feel. But once you're able to tap into that love, as far as from your spirit guide, as far as from your angels, from God, once you're able to tap into that love, your level of faith is going to grow. So if right now you're remotely stuck, as far as you're hanging on to everything, you're stuck in a lack mentality. That's why I say go out in the forest. Go out in the forest and look at everything, how much there's abundance in everything. And look at branches, summertime, grass, even right now, snowflakes. It doesn't matter. Start seeing abundance everywhere and start to become grateful and thankful for everything that you have. The third reason why you feel so off is your current situation is bringing up all this fear, this anxiety, this stress and worry about what if. What if things don't turn out my way? What if this worst case scenario comes true? And once you start to feel those emotions, it is going to completely shut down your heart chakra. It's going to close it right up. Your intuition will completely die off. That guidance will completely stop. And if right now, with the current situation you're living in, if it's not ideal, if it's not exactly where you want to be, you don't have to spend all your day worrying about this. Instead, be as much in the present moment as possible. Because by feeling all those emotions, you're in survival mode. By feeling all those emotions, you have a lack mentality. So really start to become as present as possible. And when you're thinking about whatever is going to be coming up, expect it to turn out in your favor. Start meditating and envisioning that it's going to turn out in your favor. And not only this, if you're remotely living in lack, just by being able to feel grateful and thankful, you're going to be able to shift yourself more into an abundance mentality. So start looking at what are you grateful for? If you have a home, if you have food, if you have, a bed, you have clothes, you have a job, you have the internet, you have a cell phone. Start looking at all the different things that you're able to feel grateful for. And any time that you're starting to feel all that fear, that stress, that anxiety, you're worrying about something, get yourself in the present moment and tell yourself, listen, this has not happened yet. I still have power over my future. It's all about what you're envisioning. It's what are you expecting. And as far as this journey, that's why it's so important to be in the present moment, because I can't tell you how many times I've had miracles come forth where if I wasn't awakened, if I didn't have this connection with my angel and my God, if I didn't feel this love, this loving energy from them, I would be freaking out. But it's a mere fact that I trust. It's the mere fact that I have allowed my faith to grow, and that certainty has came in. Therefore, no matter what it seems like is coming up, I'm continuing to envision what I want to have come forth. I'm expecting what I want to have come forth. And the majority of the time, that's exactly what ends up happening. And how many times have you worried about something just for like 2-3 weeks and then literally it never happens? And then you're like, I got through another month. I was able to get through this situation. So really, if you're feeling any of those bottom feeding emotions, get yourself grounded. Get yourself in the present moment. Go out in nature. Disconnect from electronics. Do a deep meditation. And just by getting yourself in the present moment, you'll be able to release those negative emotions for a short period of time. And it's going to help to open your heart chakra back up. It's going to help to start to receive more and more of that guidance. Therefore, your intuition is going to be opening back up. It's going to be strengthening back up as far as which path you should be taking. And the fourth reason why you feel so off, and this is probably the easiest one to correct, is you haven't given up on bad habits. You haven't given up as far as consuming alcohol, consuming drugs, eating unhealthy, having a very unhealthy lifestyle. And this is, once more, it's extremely easy to just start cutting out one thing at a time, because what you're going to be noticing, as far as example, I used to smoke weed at the beginning of my spiritual awakening. I went through a deep level of depression. Therefore, I was aware that if I was to smoke weed and then meditate, it would help artificially raise up my vibrations, therefore letting go, releasing some of this resistance. But at a certain point, I didn't feel as good as before. So I ended up giving that up. And you're going to be noticing the same thing with alcohol. you're going to be noticing that this is not just going to affect you for one day. You're going to notice that you're going to be feeling off. Let's say after you've had 4, 5, 6 drinks, you're going to be feeling off for up to a week to 10 days. And same thing as far as foods. Foods, you will notice this definitely. It's just not going to make you feel good. You're going to be feeling all tired and groggy. So really start looking at what is it that you're consuming? What bad habits are you hanging on to for your pre-awakened self? Because sometimes that's the last string as far as what's keeping you from your old self to your new awakened self. Sometimes it's just a bad habit, because a lot of times you'll notice people will drop out of your life. Certain situations will just disappear. You're going to be ending up most likely moving. You know what I mean? A lot of these changes are going to happen, but sometimes it's just that one little bad habit that you need to let go of. And this, as far as raising up your vibration, the healthier you are, the healthier as far as what is it that you consume, the better you're going to be feeling, the more your heart chakra is going to open, the higher you're going to be able to vibe. So if right now you're struggling as far as consuming something that you know that you shouldn't be consuming anymore, really pay attention. How do you feel before compared to after? And I can guarantee you at a certain point, you're going to start to notice at a certain point, you're going to feel a lot worse after consuming this than you did previously. And then all it's a matter of is letting that go. No longer consuming this, no longer doing this bad habit. Let it go, and it's going to help raise your vibration. And the fifth reason why you feel so off is your ego from this 3D reality has not been crushed yet. This is something that I went through at the beginning of my spiritual awakening, where at the time, I'll be honest with you, at the time I used to work out like all the time. But at a certain point, my ego, my head was just too big. I thought I was bigger, stronger, more powerful, everything better than other individuals. I was always competing with other individuals in this 3D reality. And not only this, when I had my spiritual awakening, I all of a sudden thought I was better than everyone else. I thought that no one understood me because I was sitting on a pedestal compared to other individuals. But what ended up happening, a set series of events allowed me to get that ego crushed, to become more humble. And by doing so, I started to realize more and more we are all connected. Everyone is just a different expression of myself. So right now, really look at what is motivating you right now. Are you moving forward from your heart space, or is it your ego? Are you being ego driven? Because this is a stage that everyone must go through. As far as how big you're gonna get crushed as far as your ego, it all depends on your current situation. It all depends on how much is your ego driving you right now. But once this happens, you truly are going to discover who you are. Not only this, you're gonna become more and more humble, and you're going to be connecting with more and more individuals, because you're no longer going to be placing yourself above them. You're going to be placing yourself equal to them. If you're currently feeling off, as in your intuition is closed off, your heart chakra is closed off, you're feeling numb, and it isn't something that I've mentioned, comment it down below, because there might be other individuals who are going through similar situations that you're going to be able to help each other out on. But as far as whenever you're feeling like this, the majority of people go through this, take the time to understand why you're going through this. Take the time to understand what is it that you need to let go of. Take the time to understand what is it that you need to understand at a much deeper level, because oftentimes whatever is happening on the surface is nothing compared to what you're going to learn as far as a deeper level. So really look at right now what's going on in your life and simplify it as possible. Become more and more present. Allow yourself to feel grateful more and more. And I'm going to be making, my next video is going to be about 5 ways to get yourself out of this slump and to re-raise your vibrations back up. But let me tell you this is just a stepping stone on your journey. Right now, you're being prepared for something major as far as your manifestations, as far as understanding something at a much deeper level, as far as possibly guiding you as far as what is it that you're passionate about. A certain path, a certain door is going to be open for you. But it's a matter of working through all this stuff that's coming up, gaining a deeper understanding, and then preparing yourself, because 2021, you are going to be receiving those unexpected blessings. In 2021, you're going to be seeing, by the end of 2021, you're going to be in a completely different place. And if you're remotely feeling stressed out, get yourself out in nature. Get yourself out in nature, ground yourself, clear that mind. You have the power to control the events coming forth by just simply choosing to envision positivity, expecting situations to turn out in your favor. And you're going to see, once you start doing this, not just for the big manifestation, but on a daily basis, you're going to see you have way more control over your reality than you ever thought. Well, I love you guys. You guys have an awesome day. Namaste.